Hello. You know, this is really fucking funny, right? I was recording the end of that last one, right? You probably saw behind me, I'll go behind me. Lad, obviously 16, just left school, right? And as all 16-year-olds do, and all the kids have went back, they go for a fucking walk, right? I did it. You go for a walk to the most remote place you can find, right? And it's like to, what's the word? To sort of assert your dominance over the fucking owner at school. And I always enjoy watching that every year. You see these young lads, and they're really over the moon because they're walking around. So anyway, this lad's walking around. He's obviously thinking I'm a fucking nutter because I'm talking to floor heating seat in my hand. He turns around for a bit, and then when I hang this up, I goes down this side path down the side of the bridge there, sort of hidden, right? And you see him turn round, and he's like, "What the fuck? Where's he went to? Where's it? What?" And he's totally fucking thrown. I think he thinks he's just seen a ghost or something, right? So if you see a video from a young lad, black chatted on YouTube about how he's seen a ghost, it's a load of bollocks. Right. After that, I'm going to get down to this texture workflow. More of a model workflow, so let's work through this. I'm going to assume that you've got your low res model and you've got your sculpt, okay? Let's say you sculpt up to medium res, you haven't got your fine details on yet. Here's what you do. Render it out, right? Just normal white render. Doesn't matter how shit it looks, right? Just something with the basic lighting. Now take 3 colours and start painting. See, red, green and blue is always good for me. And you paint it. The red areas are the really high frequency detail, right? The blue areas are medium res detail that you're going to put in, and you know the green one's obviously low res, right? So high frequency one will be very fine wrinkles. Medium res will be stuff like pimples or larger folds, and the other one will just be like images like skin forms. Okay. Work out what looks nice. Don't put fine detail everywhere. Don't need it. It'll make it look shit, right? Once you've got this done, you've got it all nice and sculpted. Export that and your low res, right? Make sure you've got UVs, and we're going to take it into max, but you can do it in just about anything, but I'll explain it in max. In max, import it in, put each model in its own layer, right? One for the low res, one for the high res. You can also press Q to use, so you just get the bounding blocks. If you work on a 64-bit system, this will be a dream, right? Be a bit of a lag if you know. Now what you're going to do is, first of all, you make just a flat plane. Make it big, right? Very big. And then make a white material. Just no specular, just white. Put it to that. In fact, you're going to apply it to every single object in the scene. Then import both your models. Okay. Now make sure it's about 1.5 to 2 times the distance from, if it's like a biped or whatever, from, don't have it standing flat in the plane. Right? Because when you bake a light map in, it's going to make it way too dark. Right? You've got that there. Not ready yet. We're going to use the Max software rendering, or that one. We're not going to use like Mental Ray for this, surprisingly enough. This gives a much better job faster. Right? Then what you do, in your lighting tab, go and get a skylight. Right? Now stick the skylight. Where you put it is actually, you get different effects actually. You're not really supposed to, but if you want a good sort of global illumination effect, stick it somewhere above the model. If you want it looking a bit more like a direct lighting, stick it flat against the plane. Right? Then you're going to select your low res model. Press 0, which brings up run it to texture. Right? Now go down, it'll have projection, enable projection, and then run the pick button, pick your high res, right? Ignore the bloody plane, right? We're not going to need that. Again, make sure you've got this white material on everything. You can use a darker one if you need a darker map, but usually a white one's best, right? It gives a really good effect. Now, scroll down, and it'll ask you what sort of map you want. You can make your normal map and displacement map there if you want, but for this, we'll pick a complete map or a lighting map. Slightly different effects, but I'm normally going for a complete map at the moment. Right, go down, tell it the size you want. Normally I'm going for 2K at the moment, right? Go for a 2K map. Tell it right near the bottom, there's a bit that says render only to texture, right? Basically don't put it in the fucking material. Press the render button. Make sure that it does not automatically unwrap. Use existing map channels on both, right? Set it away. Wait a few minutes. You'll have a nice bloody texture. Right, now you combine that with what you've already got. Right? Now you can take that into Photoshop, now put some basic colours in. So say if you've got a guy wearing a black suit, you put like a very dark charcoal colouring for his suit, right? Put like sort of basic skin colour for his face, if he's got sort of, I don't know, say he's got red trousers, you have red, just a basic red for that, but don't make it too overpowering. Right, now you've got that, that's going to be a basic colour guide. Flatten those layers with this light map over the top, set to multiply. You may need to turn down a little bit to get the balance you need. Right? A small amount of lightning in. It does help. Right? Now, flatten all those layers, export that out. Right? And you're going to open that in whatever package you want to use, back in Max or whatever, and then view it. Right? Have a good look. Then, go back to your layers again, with your basic colours. I should have told you actually save it to PSD before you flatten it, right? Then go in, you can either hand paint the details. Using the light map, you'll be able to see where all the highlights are, right? And where all the shadows. You can darken the shadows with a darker colour, more saturated colour, less saturated, lighter colour for your highlights. Be very sparingly with them. It'll make it look a bit nicer, right? Then start taking textures, right? So if you've got a suit, find this fabric texture. Cut it down to a tile. Don't try and fit it from a bloody photograph, because you will always fuck up, right? And it will never look right, no matter what anybody tells you. So I had to do something the other day for tartan, because one of the characters was Doctor Who thing. Where's tartan, right? Now I had to take a single tiny tile of tartan, about the size of a thumbnail in real size, and create something about the size of a football field. Now the reason for this is I can then use that for my texturing purposes. Now as the UVs are laid out well, hopefully, alright. If you don't use your UV layout from headers, do the job nicely. Worth learning, by the way. Then you take sections of this, just cut out, you know, like a square about year big, and then say, right, put that on this bit, this jacket here, right? You overlay it over the top. Sometimes you multiply, sometimes it'd be screen or overlay. Play around with your blending modes, basically. Then you can either right click, Control T in Photoshop, we'll put it in transform mode, right click, turn to warp, get it roughly the right shape and warp in the right way with the flow of the fabric. You then go into your filters at the top and use the liquify brush and move it in better, right? With that done, you then start either hand painting some dirt using a nice scatter brush with a brown brownish sort of colour, very unsaturated. Stick it over and multiply and fade it back, right? Or you can take in some dirt textures and bring that in, right? Bob is your auntie's living lover, right? Now you bring that in, again, check it again, see if anything's wrong. If not, you now need a cavity map, right? You can make cavity maps next door, mate, and ZBrush, make them all over the place, right? Just about everything does a cavity map. You want it sharp cavities for only the very smallest, tightest details. Now get that, stick it on top of the whole bloody lot in Photoshop, and then set it to multiply first of all, and see what it looks like. If the black is not the right colour, right, change it back to normal, do a hue and saturation, and change the colours, like colorise and just colorise the skin like a sort of, well, that's sort of a desaturated red, right, like that. If it was a black, you'd be alright. If it was sort of a tartan, go for a really dark wine red, right? You're actually quite saturated with that, and then you just fade it back. Flatten your layers. You can try some colour correction if you want, try some levels. You want to really go to town, go into your the level adjustment thingies under your sort of edit menu, and go for variations. Have a play around with that for a while. When you're finished, you've got one blasting texture. Shouldn't take you very long at all. Right? Longest thing is a map generation time. It'll perfectly fit your high-res model. There's no guesswork. It's actually a pretty normal game workflow with a few tweaks. There you go. That is how you can do fast texturing, and it'll look great. The best thing about that is because you're not using like ZBrush, where it's dependent how many polygons you have, right? If you only got 600,000 polygons and you need an 8K texture, yeah, you can make one, but it's going to be blurry as hell, right? Which has always been a bit of a bugbear of mine. So that's what you can do, right? So let's see what the time is. Oh, nearly went on for 9 minutes here. So basically, this way in Photoshop allows you to have complete control. You can use as many overlay layers as you like, right? Now, hope you've all been taking notes. If not, rewind it back and listen to it again, because I know I've been talking a bit fast. Right, I'm going to go into part 3 in a second. We're back on some normal stuff, right? See you in a minute.